Hi guys, Kimberly Gandrella here. It's been quite a long time since I have dressed up and made a video, even though this is not really that dressed up. The reason being, honestly, that I have been very depressed and anxious and stressed about everything that's going on. I'm sure many of you feel the same way. Whether it's stress because of the political climate, the socio-political climate, the news, our economic fears, our fears for our own careers and our own economic future, isolation from friends and family, or lack of access to adequate medical care, whether that is mental health care or regular health care. Or a combination of all of those things. I think a lot of us can relate to that. And so I'm not going to get into the reasons why I have been feeling these feelings because in the end it's not helpful to dwell on that anyhow. But that isn't what I'm here today for. Basically, I'm just going to try to give you a quick little rundown on what I have been finding has worked for me. I have been talking to quite a few people and exploring quite a few different thought processes when it comes to my mental health right now during this seemingly unending pandemic. And the things that have worked for me are relatively simple. I mean, there's certainly not an exhaustive list. I'm not a guru. I'm not an expert. I'm not a mental health expert. The one thing I want to say to everyone is if you are on medication, keep taking your medication. If you need therapy, continue to try to find a way to get to therapy, whether that is online or video conferenced, or if it is still in person. But do those things because those are the most important things that you can do for yourself. But if you are like many people and this is just a tough time and it's not a chemical imbalance that you're being treated for, these are some of the things that I've found have worked for me. Obviously, I am coming to you from a place of real privilege when it comes to some of these fears and these feelings. I certainly do have it much better than a lot of people, and I'm not, unaware of that fact. But at the same time, I think that we all, regardless of where we're at in our lives, need a little bit of help right now and a little bit of focus. So I'm going to just quickly tell you what I have been doing. That's made my life a little easier on the day-to-day. First of all, the first thing, honestly, is start your day every day. I'm not going to tell people to wake up at the same time every day and go to bed at the same time every day, because let's face it, honestly, that is not always possible for everyone. But I will tell you that whatever that day is that you're starting, start that day like you would a regular day, meaning get up, take a shower, get out of bed. Even if you find yourself going back to bed, start your day at some point during the day. I have found that one of the most positive things for me that also checks off a lot of other boxes that I'll get to later is yoga. I get up in the morning and even before I shower, I put on my coffee and I do some yoga. And then I take my shower, have my coffee, and do whatever it is that I plan to do that day. But it's always important to me to start that day in some positive way. That said, I try to begin and end every day with some type of positivity, whether that is meditation or affirmation or listening to, some sort of positive meditative podcasts or something like that, or even just going through your gratitudes. Every different tradition, whether it's spiritual or religious tradition, has different ways of going about this, and you don't have to have any tradition. You can just decide that you're going to start off with a positive reading or a positive thought, but start every day with a positive thought for that day and the future, and end every night if you can with the same kind of thing. And I think you'll find that it really does help at least begin your day with a good, being in a good place. The next thing is food. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, food and exercise, the next two things. You need to keep healthy, right? And we can, in times like this, We can forgive ourselves for not getting out and about. We can forgive ourselves for not eating right. But the longer this drags on, the more people need to realize that you can't dig yourself into a hole with this, that your entire life balance and your physical well-being cannot suffer as well. And that means you don't want, I mean, I'm not, it has nothing to do with weight gain, and it has nothing to do with, body image issues and things like that. It really just has to do with health, your actual physical health, and whatever that looks like for you. You can't just let that slide. We all have to take care of ourselves and take care of these bodies, because that's what we have to take us through this life. And you need to be good to yourself and to your body, and that will also keep you from dwelling on the negative backsliding that's happened when we are drinking too much and eating too much and lazing around too much, because we're just trying to make ourselves feel better. Well, in the long run, we aren't going to feel better if that's what we're doing. We really need to take control of that at some point. One of the biggest things that I have seen that's worked for me, which I've talked about in other broadcasts, is make and keep a list of everything you want and need to do, and just do one thing a day. I learned in college that this is the best way to keep yourself from getting overwhelmed and getting depressed, but also getting beyond your abilities. Just do one thing, even if that one thing is doing the laundry. Just keep that list, and crossing those things off that list is such a wonderful feeling. And I keep a list of all the things I want to do, the things for my creativity and my career, whatever career that some of us don't have right now. Those big future things that we're hoping to do, or those things that we're hoping to learn. But also on that list are the super small things, like reorganize the junk drawer, or make sure the dogs all have their medication, or call somebody that I need to call, anything like that I've been especially things that I want to put off. Put them on that list, and every day you're going to see that list, and you're going to feel so much better about crossing those things off that you won't want to procrastinate any longer. And you'll find that you're going to get more than one thing done a day. And some days you might not get anything done, but don't kill yourself about it. Just next day get up and get one thing done, no matter what that is. Get outside. I think that's another one that's self-explanatory, no matter what that looks like. I know it's super scary to be around people, and I'm lucky because I'm in a position where I don't have to be around people to get outside. I can sit on my porch, I can sit in my yard like I'm doing right now, can walk around the bywater and there's nobody around. Certainly make sure you bring your mask and your hand sanitizer, but don't lose your mind over being stressed out about being out and about and around, because the isolation of that is super scary. And we're all going to find ourselves with PTSD, and if we don't get out and face the world. The next thing, of course, then is contact loved ones, friends and family. Have a social distance meetup if you can. Do a Zoom meeting if you're down with that. Call someone. Write them a letter. Write them a long email. Whatever you need to do. I can be really weird about contacting people and getting back to people. I procrastinate that more than anything, because I can have a lot of social anxiety. But we need to feel less isolated, and we need to feel like we are still part of a greater community. But also make sure that we keep those interactions positive. Not a bitch fest where we just dwell upon everything that's wrong with the world, because that's, certainly we can talk about these things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of these positivities, everything, love and light nonsense people. I think that we really have to own our darkness. But that said, we also we can't just dwell in it forever. We really have to try to find ways to entertain ourselves without just wallowing in the negativity that we're all feeling right now. That said, limit social media exposure and news exposure. I, like most of you, just mindlessly scroll Facebook constantly and, doom scroll. I also watch the news like a lunatic, because I'm trying to find some sort of positivity to latch onto. But the problem, though, is that trying to find that little bit of positivity, like, oh, there might be a vaccine and this, that, and the other thing, I'm just so overwhelmed by all the constant negativity. And let me tell you, all of that stuff is still going to be there tomorrow, and it's still going to be there the next day, and it's still going to be there regardless of whether or not I immerse myself in it, or if I limit my exposure to it and choose to just parse all that out in my life when I'm more emotionally able to deal with it in a rational, healthy manner. And then the very last thing I wanted to say is do something nice for yourself every single day. I don't know what that is. Do your nails, listen to your favorite song, you know, eat something that you love in moderation. But, you know, do something that you love to do, and don't forget that you do love things and that there are things that make you happy, and try to remember what those are and do them. At least every day, do one small thing for yourself, not for anybody else. And just enjoy it. Just enjoy the simplicity of that. And that's it. So I'm gonna try to do more of these if I can ever think about other things to talk about. And like I said, I'm not any expert or guru. I'm just a person that's dealing with the same shit that everybody else out there is dealing with, and trying to find a way to work with that and to try to move forward. You know, life has never been certain. You know, we convince ourselves that it is. We convince ourselves we're on a path, and you know, we're making the right decisions, and we're on a career trajectory, and you know, but life has never been certain. There's always been nothing but uncertainty in this world. And it's a really scary thing, which is why we attempt to order it, which is why we attempt to make ourselves believe that we have some sort of sense of security and certainty. And maybe realizing that is kind of helpful right now, that a lot of us are powerless to deal with a lot of the things that are happening, and maybe we need to make the decision to not worry about it. You know, I know that sounds so, you know, nihilistic maybe, but perhaps that's the only thing we can do for our own health and stability right now, is just focus on what we can change and work on, and all of those other things, just let it be what it is until we are in a better position to have some control or some effect over these factors. So that's it. I love y'all, and I miss y'all, and I hope to see y'all soon. And so does Jet. She's doing what she loves today, which is chasing bugs around the backyard. So that's all. Take care, y'all, and I'll see y'all again. Bye-bye.